Good morning, folks. Welcome to this Monday edition of Fireside Chats and Demos at Lake Superior Art Glass. If you didn't notice, I got a haircut. My wife Caitlin cut my hair yesterday. First haircut she's ever done, and she did a great job. Not perfect, but it's really, really good. So stoked to have my haircut because I was in need of a haircut when the whole lockdown went into effect. So it was very, very long. So it feels really good to get rid of all that. Today I'm going to be doing some memorial pendants for a good friend of mine and his family. So we're going to be doing some image memorial pendants. So I've got a Lotus flower. All my images are made by Dichroic alchemy. They specialize in these, and I've been getting them made by Matthew Dichroic Alchemy for about 11 years now. We're also going to do a sea turtle. So that's what we're doing today. I wanted to be able to do the full process here so that my friends could watch. So I've got the ash on my marvering pad already, and I'm going to start by mixing that up just so we can do everything from square one. So any updates with our GoFundMe campaign? Last Friday we did reach our initial $500 goal, so thank you guys so much for that. We did set a new goal just to help with some funding to get things back up and running here. Manufacturing is allowed to come back, and so we're looking at getting our glass blowers hired back to start producing some work, so we're ready when we can open for the public and not short on inventory. So if you haven't donated to our GoFundMe and want to throw us $5-10 for watching these live fireside demos, please consider going to our GoFundMe page. You just go to GoFundMe and look up Lake Superior Art Glass, and feel free to donate a couple bucks there. We would certainly appreciate it. Our ongoing promotions, straws are on sale through some point, maybe Wednesday morning-ish. So buy 4, get 1 free for our drinking glass borosilicate straws. They're really sweet, no taste, like metal or even the silicone can sometimes have some taste. So it's really nice in that standpoint that they're easily cleaned and sterilized, but there's no taste like the metal straws. Our clearance section has a ton of awesome work still on sale at deeply discounted, so check that out. And we're still doing our local image fundraiser. So $5 from every local image pendant purchased in the month of April goes to the, Minnesota Artist Relief Fund. So it's a great way we can give back to other artists who are in need at this time. So we've had a couple orders come in this weekend I saw for local image pendants, so thank you guys for those. $5 from each one goes to the Artist Relief Fund. So we're trying to hit at least $100 to donate, so it's something significant. So I think we've got a little bit ways to go. So if you're thinking about a Lake Superior or Minnesota, Wisconsin, Split Rock Lighthouse, Pendant, Lake Freighter, whatever it is, those are all part of the local image category. And then don't forget about the design your own pendant. So if you've got a pendant idea or a custom order that we might be able to do in our live stream, send us a message through our Facebook or through our website. The form is on the website to fill out if you have a custom pendant you'd like requested. And we'd be happy to do it live on air. I think I'm doing a custom marble for someone later this week. So if you guys have those ideas, shoot them our way, and you might be able to watch your piece being made live on our stream someday. So we appreciate all the support. Thank you guys so much. With that, we're going to get started and mix up some ashes. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed their weekend. I know I did. I got some projects done, got to relax a little bit. Got a nice long walk on Saturday. Walked down to the Rose Garden from our house from like 28th Avenue East and 1st Street, and got down to the Oasis del Norte food truck and got ourselves some tacos, some authentic tacos. So that was awesome. Good highlight of the weekend. Hey Ben, glad you're able to watch. I'm just about to start mixing up the ashes. So I get 2 pieces of clear glass really, really hot. Actually, let me check our white balance here and just make sure that the camera's adjusted well. Yeah, Melissa, that's awesome. We'd be happy to work with you to figure out some memorial pieces for you. We do a lot of them. So and we do work with one of the big mail order companies too. So Spirit Pieces is one of the main companies out there that does it through the internet. And we have probably about 30 of our designs available through their website. But yeah, if you're local, we always encourage folks just to come to us, and then we've got more design options that way too, and you can customize it a little bit better. So, all right, so I just put this piece of glass down on the ash, so you can kind of see the speckles there. And then I'm going to encase it with this other piece of glass. So if you haven't watched our other Memorial Pendant demo, the biggest thing about mixing ash in with the glass is that you have to get it really well blended in to try to make it more uniform. And what I mean by that is if you have just big globs of ash in glass, a lot of times that could lead to cracking because it's not, the ash is obviously not glass and the glass doesn't like to accept it. So we make a mixture first and mix the clear glass with the ash and kind of create our own rod of glass with the ash in it that then we can apply to different projects. And so that's one of the really cool things about all of our flameworking custom orders. Not all of them, but a lot of times customers will get an extra small droplet pendant with their order, because when we mix up all this ash, we don't always use all of it for all the pieces that they order, and so we'll just turn this mixture with the clear and the ash into a pendant, and so it's kind of a nice little bonus. We just want to be as respectful as we can with everyone's loved ones, and if we've got ash mixed in the glass anyway, it only takes us a couple extra minutes to make that extra pendant. So now if you've ordered from us and you haven't gotten one of those, that just means that there wasn't leftover ash. It doesn't mean that we forgot or shortchanged or anything like that. It's never a guaranteed thing, but something we like to do when we can. So as I'm mixing this, I'm just kind of looking for bubbles. The ash produces quite a bit of bubbles, and we want them to be as small as possible. So in this mixing process, I'm actually able to work those bubbles out to the surface and then pop them. And so that's what I'm doing right now. There's just kind of one big bubble at the end here that I'm trying to get worked out, and then we should be pretty close to mixed enough. This mixing process is pretty much what we do in our pendant and our wine goblet making class. For you to add your colors together, we just kind of make a glob like this and swirl them up and mix them together. So very, very similar to how we do those classes. All right, so I think it's pretty well mixed. So now I'm going to get everything really well melted in and then kind of just slightly taper it into a rod that I can use to create the memorial pendants from. Oh, Ben, I already forgot. What color sea turtle did you want me to do again? The blue or the teal? Amber just told me, but I don't remember what she said. I think she said teal, but I could be wrong. Ben's got an order for 4 pendants with us, and we're not going to have time to do all of them on the live stream, so we just asked which ones he wanted us to make. teal. Perfect. Thanks, Ben. All right. So, there's our mixture. You can see all the ash mixed in the glass there. So we'll set those aside in the kiln so that they stay hot, so they're ready to go when I want to use them. Otherwise they would just crack and explode if I let them cool too quickly, or when I went to reheat them, they would probably explode. So all right. So we're going to start with the lotus flower. Got that image here. Put it on a little handle like that so you can kind of preheat it and work with it. The dichroic glass that the images are made from is very sensitive to heat, so I just warm it up in the back of the flame like this, always making sure that that dichroic glass is facing away from the torch. And what I mean by that is the coating is only on one side of the glass, so the side that's coated is pointed away from the torch. Dichroic is a coating comprised of quartz crystal and different metal oxides, and it's very, very reflective. The simplest way to describe it is it kind of looks like a mirror. So, you know, it's a coating on a sheet of glass, on one side of a sheet of glass. But the reason it's called dichroic is because it has two color properties. If you break down the word, obviously di meaning two, and then croic is color. And so it refers to the transmitted color versus the reflected color. So if I hold this up to the light, like we've been seeing gold, but if we held it up to the light and backlit it, we'd see a different color. Kind of a bluish. That's pretty standard for gold colors. So that's what it means by dichroic, two colors. And it was mainly developed by NASA in recent history, but the Romans were using it, long, long time ago for royalties' drinkware, so that they thought that if the drink was poisoned, it would show up a different color in the drinking glass than a regular drink would. I don't know how well that works, because it would obviously be in relation to the color of the drink. So I guess if they were drinking the same colored beverage all the time, like it was always red wine, then it might look different if it was poisoned, but that's a pretty dark color. My guess is if it were more of a lighter color, like water or maybe mead or something like that, that if that was changed color a little bit, maybe you couldn't tell to the naked eye in the colored drinkware, but if you held it up to the light, maybe you could tell. So that was kind of the first applications of dichroic glass. All right, so I've melted in the image. Now we'll add some ash. So for the Lotus pendant, we're doing just a black background, and then for the Sea Turtle, we'll be doing the teal background. So the reason I know Ben is his son and I were good friends in college, and his son put together the first Respect Your Mother Earth Day Festival. If you've been around in Duluth long enough, you might remember that festival. It started as a UMB event for one of our classes, and Eric had the vision to continue it on after that one semester, and that festival was actually the very first time that I ever blew glass on my own in public. Prior to that, I had been in my apprenticeship, and so I had worked in public a couple times with the guy that I had learned from, but the Respect Your Mother Earth Day Festival on campus in 2006 was the first festival I ever did on my own. And from that, I got another festival. I got the Bayfront Reggae Festival that year, so I did that summer. And then from that one, I got my third festival, which was the Boundary Waters Blues Festival up in Ely. And so that festival was really a big turning point for me. And then Eric and I, and along with the help of some other good friends, continued throwing the Respect Your Mother Earth Day Festival down in Leif Erikson Park for about maybe 4 years after that, 3 years, something like that. And so I was the vendor coordinator for that in the years to come. And I was just down at Leif Erikson Park this weekend, just kind of reminiscing about all the good times we had throwing that festival down there. And typical of Earth Day in April in Duluth, I think one out of maybe it was 2 out of 5 or 6 years that we had the festival total, we had nice weather. Usually it was gray and windy and drizzly and cold, just typical April Duluth weather. This weekend was obviously very beautiful here in Duluth, but that was kind of par for the course for that festival. It was a rain or shine event, and we definitely did not see much shining from the sun most years. All right, so I just added that black background there. Ben's son Eric has a wonderful business here in Duluth called Anahata Herbals, and some of you may have enjoyed his teas. They're served, I think, at the Duluth Grill and Sarah's Table, and I'm sure a number of other places. Those are the two that I know for sure. But yeah, Eric does wonderful things with sustainable agriculture and tinctures and herbs. So if you're ever looking for some amazing loose leaf tea, check out Anahata Herbals. That would be fun, Ben. Yeah, it was a great festival, and I couldn't be happier that I got to be a part of it for all those years. It would be fun to do it again for sure. A couple more years, and Eric could have the whole crew in house. Have all the kids helping to put it on. So I just put a punty on the back side of the pendant so I can melt it off the clear rod and start rounding out the front side of the pendant. So I don't know how many of you folks saw any of my posts from a couple of weeks ago. We were repainting our living room and really doing a nice overhaul on it. And the last night, I slipped off of the step stool and put my elbow through one of the windows in our living room. And I finally got it replaced yesterday. It took me 2 tries. The first try, I cracked the new window trying to put it in because trying to reuse the glazer points that hold the pane of glass in there, and the little diamonds don't go in very easily unless you have the right gun for it. So I cracked that pane of glass and got a new one last week and put that in yesterday successfully, and got the glazing put on the window too. I've only done that once when I was a kid. My grandpa had my mom and I do it on the house we were living in. So I vaguely remember it from then, but it's a little different when you're trying to do it with the window in frame versus laying down flat. that was a fun experience. But yeah, we've got our window fixed again finally. I'm going to use a little bit of Kung Fu just to flatten this out. Just using some centrifugal force. Alright, and then we'll add the loop on the top. You can see the Lotus in there. If you haven't watched too many of our demos, just a quick overview. This type of glass blowing that I'm doing is called flameworking. Traditionally it was called lamp working because when it was originally figured out how to melt glass with a flame, I'm burning propane and oxygen, but they didn't have bottled glass with, bottled gases, 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago, whenever they were really pioneering this. But the Venetians, I believe, when they were really working on it and pioneering it, they were taking an oil lamp for the flame and then using a foot bellows to pump air into the flame to create a hot enough fire to melt the glass. And so since they were using an oil lamp, they called it lamp working. I really try to stray away from that term. People in the industry know what it means, but the average consumer does not, and so they just think that I make lamps. So we call it flame working instead, but it is a form of glass blowing. All the same principles apply to what I'm doing here as they do up in the hot shop. You got to keep the glass moving, you got to spin all the time almost, and you do blow into the glass if it's going to be a hollow item. So glass blowing is a little bit of a misnomer. You don't have to physically be blowing into the glass for you to be able to make a piece of blown glass. It's more the act of working hands-on with molten glass with a traditional set of techniques and tools. So it's a little bit about what I'm doing. I use Pyrex or borosilicate glass. Pyrex is just a brand name. But people at least know what that refers to. It's got a little higher melting temperature, and it's a little stronger than regular glass. So I'm using propane and oxygen for my flame that combusts at about 4,500 degrees. It's about as hot as you can get those two gases to combust at. So I'm running fairly high pressures. The glass doesn't need to be 4,500 degrees. In fact, if it was, it would be boiling and I'd be losing all the color and there'd be a lot of bubbles in it. And I don't even know really what would happen if you heated glass up to 4,500 degrees. The glass is more in the range of like 2,000 to 2,350, 2,400 maybe when I'm working with it. But having that flame that's almost twice that hot helps do things more quickly. If I only had a 2,500 degree flame, I'd be waiting around a long time for this glass to get hot enough to work with. And it cools, in my experience, about 4 times as fast as it heats. And so having that hotter flame is really, really helpful to doing things in a timely manner. So, pendant's finished. I just need to break it off of here. Someone said windows are a whole different kind of glass for me to work with. Yeah, Ben, absolutely. I don't think I've ever tried working with window glass. I'm trying to think what kind of glass is that glass I have tried. I know that bottled glass, I haven't personally worked with bottle glass, but a couple of glass blowers from the Twin Cities have an awesome lighting company called Bicycle Glass, and they actually take glass bottles from the recycling stream in the Minneapolis metro area, crush them down, add a little bit of their own colorants, and they make light fixtures out of those. And that glass is a one-shot deal. Once it's liquid hot, you blow it into the mold to get the shape, and if it doesn't go right, you scrap it and start over, because that glass is designed to cool so fast that it's not worth the time to try to fix it. You'll just scrap it and it'll get remelted and used, but it's a one-shot deal. So there is the Lotus pendant. You can see the little speckles of ash in the background. Turned out really nice. That's going to go into the kiln, so it can cool slowly. The kiln's about 1,050 degrees. That's a stable temperature for the glass to sit at. Then overnight it'll cool over about 12 hours to let the glass cool and shrink all as one. Right now there's hotter and colder areas, and that would develop stress in the glass if it just was allowed to cool on its own. All right, next we're going to do the Sea Turtle Pendant. So I'll stick that on a handle here. Preheating that image in the back of the flame. Get my clear glass nice and hot. Now here's the thing about dichroic. Even though you get the same color, or let's say I order the same color every time from the company, it doesn't always come out the same. This batch that the Sea Turtle came on is very, very sensitive. So I actually can't really even preheat this one very much, or all the dichroic just blows away just in the air. It comes off of the glass. So I've got to trap this on, that dichroic on there a little bit more carefully. So in this case, that dichroic was just very sensitive. But it also can be different color hues. So, you know, we always do our best to replicate the pictures that we have of items when people order them, but we can't ever guarantee it. And it just has to do with the material properties. Making colored glass or even dichroic glass is subject to so many minute inconsistencies. A main one being difference in barometric pressure in the atmosphere. You know, if it's high pressure or low pressure, you know, that's being experienced when that glass is being made, that will affect the glass. And so companies that produce it do their best to minimize those variables, but they're impossible to eliminate. So that's a big reason why we are somewhat limited in trying to accommodate some specific requests when it comes to color or hue or consistency. I just added some of the ash on there. Now there's some bigger bubbles in this chunk of ash, and they work their way towards the edge, so I need to go in and pop those, otherwise they'll be kind of a flaw in the finished piece. So I dial down my torch to a really pinpoint flame, just focus it on that bubble, and it kind of pushes the glass away and eventually pops the bubble. So there's a ton of science in glass blowing. I don't know a lot of the technical stuff about the material and how to make colored glass. concept, it can be very straightforward, but there's a lot of science that goes into it when you really dive into the thick of it and you're trying to produce a very specific color with specific characteristics. And so that's why, as a glass artist, I just prefer to make the artwork and not try to do the whole process from start to finish, from taking raw material and adding my own colorants and melting my own glass. That's a whole career in of itself. Not to mention chemistry is not my strong suit. So now I've got the teal glass here. I'm getting that gathered up, and we'll stick that on for the background. I'm looking for a new punty. Both my punties on here have black glass on it, and I didn't want to leave a chunk of black glass on the teal because that would definitely show up. The teal is transparent, so trying to find a nice, clean, clear punty. Sometimes a little bit of glass gets left behind from that punty, so just a little preemptive step that I was taking there. Melting off the clear glass in my left hand from the front of the pendant, and that will allow me to start rounding out and shaping the front. It's also important to try to remove a lot of the lens, a lot of the clear glass from the front when I'm making it. Otherwise the pendants end up really tall and they'll stick off of your chest or your neck quite a bit. And it's really easy for glass jewelry to be really chunky. And I learned that a long time ago. It was a lot of feedback that I got early on, is that all of my jewelry was too chunky. And so even now I'm going to go in with my tweezers and remove some more of that clear glass from the lens. You're not decreasing the footprint of the pendant and the width of it. You're decreasing how tall it is or how far it sticks off your neck. The marble mold that I use to round things out is made from graphite. Really high quality, very smooth graphite. It can withstand the high temperatures really well, but it doesn't heat up very quickly and make the glass want to stick to it. That's what metal does. Metal typically will heat up much faster, and when it gets hot enough, it'll stick to the glass and grab it. If you're spinning, then you instantly twist your piece. So that's why a lot of the tools we use in flame working are made from graphite, like this paddle. They are somewhat delicate. You do have to treat them gently. Now that I have a tile workbench, I'm definitely a little more conscious of that, because that hard material can really have an impact on it. There we go. That final kung fu move that I do helps to widen the pendant and shorten it so it's not quite as tall. You can see that profile I got there. Alright, now we'll put the loop on it. The loop is pretty funky looking right now, but that's not a concern at all. My concern was that it got connected in line, that the thickness is correct, and my connection points are in the right spot. From there, I can totally adjust the shape of the loop. So if you're a flame worker that's watching, you've maybe watched my loop video. You know, the loop doesn't need to look that great when you lay it out. It's more about getting the right amount of glass there, connected in the right spots, and then you can fix everything else from there and adjust it. I think a lot of beginners overthink the loop as they're making it, that it needs to look like a loop from the beginning, but as long as you get an opening there and your thickness and your connection points are correct, you can adjust everything else afterwards. Like right now, the front of this loop is quite a bit thicker than the top or the back. So I'm going to pull some of that glass around. I'm going to open up the loop more than I want it, kind of stretching out that thicker glass in the front. And then I'll shrink it down by heating the glass on the top and towards the back, and that'll thicken this area without thickening the front. There's a little pro tip for loop making. You need to move glass around, open that loop up bigger when you want it, and then you can shrink it back down and get more of that glass where you need it. There we go. And give it a quick polish. Just double checking that my connection points are really nice and fluidly melted in. Not working to change the shape of the loop right now, just trying to make sure it's going to be very durable and strong. So there you can see the profile that I got now. Much better. Alright, so we'll give this a little tap, break it off the punty, and polish the backside, and I'll show it to you guys once more. There, the finished Sea Turtle Pendant. So the background is glowing still, but in the loop you can see a little bit of that nice teal color. So if I hold it to the light, maybe you'll see it a little bit. There we go. So yeah, that's how I make a dichroic image memorial piece. It goes into the kiln to cool slowly. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's always nice to be able to make meaningful pieces like that for, especially for folks that I know and who mean a lot to me. So thank you, Ben, for the order. I really appreciate it, and glad I could honor you with it, and Judy. So yeah, thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks for all the support. Again, we do a lot of these memorial pieces. So if you would like to have one made, I think Jody even commented in the stream in the comments about a link maybe to our page where you can check out our different designs. With just about anything we make in either of our studios, both the Flameworking and the Hot Shop, we can do with memorial pieces or ashes. So don't hesitate to reach out to us with custom orders. The glass straws are on sale through Wednesday, buy 4 get 1 free. Clearance section is still up and running, got a lot of great work on there, so check that out on LakeSuperiorArtGlass.com. And we have our local image fundraiser going on too. So $5 from every local image pendant purchase this month goes to the Artist Relief Fund of Minnesota. And if you have a custom idea for a designer pendant, go to our website and fill out the form. Let us know what you're interested in. So be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Especially on YouTube, follow us, comment, like, subscribe. All that is really appreciated so we can get more viewers that don't know about Lake Superior Art Glass to start checking out these videos to see what we do here. So as always, we appreciate the support. Our GoFundMe page is active if you want to donate $5-10 for watching these videos. We certainly appreciate it. And yeah, we're looking forward to getting our glass floors back on board and starting to make some more work here to get ready to open to the public whenever that may be. So thanks again. Thanks, Ben. Take care out there, everyone. Be safe, and we'll see you tomorrow at 10. And keep an eye open for Facebook as to what I'm going to demonstrate. I don't know if we finalized that one yet or not. So thanks again. Take care. Bye.